Okay, 1 minute to go. Salman, please start making it live so that at sharp 4 we are live. And cue to go live is when the screen says we are live. I would also request everybody to turn their videos off, and as and when Bhuvnesh sir starts introducing you, then you can start turning them on. That way it will have a better visual experience. Okay, over to you, Salman, live time.
Yes, we are live, sir.
All right. Namaskar and greetings from BW Hotelier. Welcome to the inaugural episode of the second season of the much acclaimed BW Hotelier, the GM show. After a very successful inaugural season, we are now back with the High on Demand Season 2. This show helps us to present some of the finest Indian hospitality, general management, leadership, and talent. Ones who will lead this industry in times to come. We will discuss some very important issues, topics, both current and futuristic, and find a way forward. The format of the series is regional like before, where we cover the north, followed by the west, go to the south, coming to the east, go to northeast, and then central. With 2 shows a week, every Thursday and Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. Indian Standard Time. I shall request you all to block your schedule on these 2 days of every week for the next few weeks and stay tuned and log in. The show will be relayed live online on all the BW Hotelier and Business World platforms like bwhotelier.com, our social media platforms, be they YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, or Facebook. Be there, follow us, encourage us to bring you more such gems. And last but not the least, thank you for all your encouragement and support. It's now time to get on with the show with a brief introduction to the show topic and all the speakers. Let us talk Indian hospitality and see how it has progressed over the last 3 years, how it has unraveled, and the road ahead. If one was to foretell crystal ball gazing. Let's now bring in the best speakers for this show. I shall begin with Benita Sharma. She's the Area Manager North for the luxury hotels and the General Manager for the ITC Moria. Welcome, Benita. Next.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Coming in next is Anupam Das Gupta, who's the Vice President and General Manager of the Leela Palace, New Delhi. He needs no introduction. Again, a great player and a very good friend, of course.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Bhuvnesh, for wonderful introduction.
Thank you.
Pleasure to be here.
Sharad Datta again needs no introduction. He may be new to Delhi, but not really new to Delhi. He's moved in from Mumbai recently. He's the General Manager for the JW Marriott New Delhi Aero City and a great hotelier. Welcome, Sharad.
Thank you, Bhuvnesh. It's fantastic to be here. Thank you for the introduction.
Pleasure. The youngest, I think so, over here today, Abhimanyu Lodha. He's the General Manager of the Lodi in New Delhi. Not very old in his job, but yeah, he carries a lot of weight on his shoulders.
Mr. Khanna, thank you. And good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Khanna. I think you got the age right, sir.
Yeah. All right. You've all known of these hoteliers. They lead some very, very good assets in their segment and for their brands. I shall not take more time. I'll straight away dive into the show and lead in with my first question for Benita. Benita, may I begin?
Yes, please.
All right. Benita, you lead an iconic asset. You know that, right? In the heart of Delhi, and you've led it before, through, and now after the lockdown. I hate the word lockdown, but somewhere we have to talk about it. What, in your view, has changed, and what are the learnings?
Good afternoon to an audience that inspires me. Good afternoon, Bhubanesh. At the outset, I'm overwhelmed with this recognition. And on behalf of the team at ITC Hotels, we accept the iconic label with humility and gratitude. Thank you. Coming to your question, yes, there has been a big change. Now, I can't say that there was all bad, all bad things happened because of the pandemic. No. But there has been a change in both the customer and the manner in which we address the new customer or the new priorities of the customer that have gained significance. The customer today has changed. He is tech savvy and more discerning than he ever was. Wellness, safety, hygiene have gained significance and can in no way be compromised. There are double rooms being occupied with a focus on family, friends, and of course, sustainability. Today's customer seeks value with warm, personalized, but non-intrusive interactions. Guests are seeking experiences that are special and unique. They are more inclined to curated meal experiences with a chef customizing their meals. During the pandemic, new revenue streams in our luxury hotels emerged. For example, takeaway registered phenomenal growths. Our sleep boutique initiative, backed by extensive research towards improving sleep quality, was embraced by our discerning guests. And the good news is these initiatives are here to stay. We were fortunate to begin our responsible luxury journey over a decade ago, in fact, much before the pandemic. So it was much easier for us to quickly adapt to the environment and introduce the We Assure program with DNV certification for safety and security of our guests and our associates. Our chefs now continue to take up the challenge and strengthen our green initiatives, replacing international ingredients with local and artisanal alternatives. We set new benchmarks in planet positivity using renewable energy, recycling solid waste, harvesting and conserving water, banishing single-use plastic, basically reducing our carbon footprints to bequeath the next generation with a better tomorrow. Popularizing our Indian heritage cuisines are a part of our responsible luxury ethos, with our famous signature cuisines, which you may have heard of, the Bukhara, the Dampuk, kebabs and curries, Royal Vega, Avartan, which is a progressive modern Indian cuisine, South Indian cuisine. The guiding principle, of course, has been caringly selected and mindfully prepared. Our Zesty Morning collection offers superfoods from for breakfast, bringing together India's forgotten heritage grains, free range, and in-season produce. We also have something called Sattva meals, which bring out the aesthetic and pure tones underlying traditional vegetarian creations. In room service, we offer a welcome meal that is a balanced combination of fiber, protein, and carbohydrates, carefully portioned for a single diner to provide full nourishment, yet with no waste. Our hotels have risen to exceed customer expectations. I strongly believe that the next new opportunity for hospitality lies in the intersection of digital adoption, optimization of operational efficiencies, sustainability, wellness, and safety, powered by our customer-centric, agile, and adaptive talent. Of course, digital technology continues to register incremental improvements. During the pandemic, they were able to register exponential improvements. And thanks to that, we are able to move ahead and we continue in that direction, because the future lies in us leveraging the power of digital and cut-through communication to drive superior customer insights, AI, innovation, deeper consumer engagements, and brand loyalty across multiple distribution networks. Thank you.
Brilliant, brilliant. Moria at work and under your charge. Now that takes me to your immediate neighbor in the catchment, Anupam. Anupam, coming back has not been very easy, but looking back at how things have shaped up, post we opened up, it would be nice to hear from you on how you've taken your business to where it is. We are on a high. The industry is on a high. Ask anybody a year and a half, 2 ago, कि क्या होने वाला, people had their fingers crossed. No more. It's happening and everybody delivering. If you could share the plan, strategy, and execution, and to what effect? Over to you.
Certainly. Thank you. Thank you, Benita. That was a fantastic, presentation on what you and your team have done, and everyone at ITC. I've been very fortunate to have worked in that company as well, and I know whatever you guys do, you do it with a lot of intention and a great heart. So congratulations on all those initiatives. Really fantastic. Well, as far as our business strategy is concerned, I'll dwell a little bit on the time of the lockdown, etc. So, we obviously got into market segments that we never really used to get into, such as sports, movie production. To a certain extent, we started segments such as the law segment, which have been strongholds in our certain competitors, office spaces, etc. So we did all of that, and we successfully tided over that time. We also were lucky, because being in the geography that we are, certain market segments never left us, such as the diplomatic segments, the delegations. They continue to come in, even despite all the lockdowns and all of that. So we were very lucky that we were always well capitalized, and our cash flows kept moving. So that was the good thing about our business. In terms of food and beverage, we really cranked up the conversations with competitive pricing, high energy activations, such as pop-ups, bar takeovers, etc. And we've been at the forefront of things. A lot of collaboration with standalone restaurants and bars helped us get Megu into the Asia's top 50 as well, I feel, because of that. And God willing, with library also, we're inching towards that. So case in point, something that we started off during that time, and something that really culminated, I would say culminated, because for every food and beverage guy to work in under the same roof as Chef Massimo, for example, is really something that is very heartening and self-fulfilling, because the guy is absolutely outstanding, lives up to every billing that he has has made, and everything that he's known for. So we had him here for a couple of high energy, high electric days, as an example of pushing the conversation on food and beverage. So and these are things that we started at that time, and we are continuing, and it's held us in good stead, and it's become a part of our strategy as far as food and beverage is concerned. Post opening up, when we tested the market for price elasticity, certain market segments fell away, as we knew they would, and certain segments such as the retail held up. So absolutely, if you look at our the way the market has performed for us, although we wish we are number one on STR all through the year, but I think what has happened is, fortunately for all of us in this forum, as well as in the country, I think we are getting to a place where we are getting the kind of ADRs that we deserved for the services we provided, for the products that we had, and hopefully this should hold. So that price elasticity was extremely important for us, and I think that is a strategy that is now going to be the norm going forward. Because if you see all the great gateway cities in the world, the price of a hotel room is a reflection of the real estate value of the asset. Unfortunately, that's not the case. I've managed some iconic hotels in Mumbai, for example, right in the heart of Mumbai, where real estate prices are equivalent to New York and London, but we would struggle to get a $200 ADR. So fortunately, we are good on that now. We are inching forward towards ADRs that we feel all of us truly deserve, not just this hotel, but I think my comset, Vinita, everyone here in this room as well. What certain large overarching strategies that we've had as far as the retail segments are concerned, and the leisure segments are concerned, are here to stay. Some of them have already been touched upon by Vinita, but I would say experiential stays are here to stay. Personalization is here to stay. Guests being conscious of doing business with people who really genuinely want to do good for society is here to stay. Even though we've opened up in more ways than one, family vacations are here to stay. Pet friendliness is here to stay, and a strong food and beverage program is here to stay. So these are certain things that we've embraced in various ways, and I've seen many of our competitors have embraced them too. And I think that's really going to be the norm for the future. And I think all these things put together, we have a very bright future ahead.
Oh yes, absolutely. The future is bright. I was always very, very optimistic. When people would, lower their expectations, I would tell them, listen, you'll be surprised. And surprised they are. India is placed where not very many countries are lucky to be in. Now, we're not riding on a 1.4 billion at all alone. We have so much more happening, and hospitality hasn't even tested the waters yet. So our best is due. I shall now come into Sharad. Sharad, you've handled it all in Mumbai, and now you're here in Delhi. You know both the catchments, right? Just sum up the last 3 years, the lows and highs, and what are your plans now that we've seen a brilliant recovery, like we've all spoken about, keeping in mind the brand category, and of course, you're the one who's today representing the AeroCity. AeroCity is busy like hell, but business is really, really on.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Khanna. Great question, and both the people who spoke before Benita as well as Anupam covered a lot of stuff, very apt and extremely spot on, covering the expanse of what we need to do as an industry and as hotels. You asked me about Mumbai and Delhi, and again, Anupam alluded to gateway cities, and these are the two gateway cities for India. And both of these cities kind of came back much faster than many other cities in India. If you ask me to sum up the last three years, I spent those years in Mumbai. If I speak about 2020, tremendous uncertainty, obviously for everyone. 21 is what I would call a yo-yo year, right? It's stop, start, hope mixed with caution, going to strife, back to hope. That's the kind of way the 21 panned out for us. 22 post April was recovery. The performance graphs for most hotels, they rocketed in a positive direction, and that story continues till date. Whilst I was in Mumbai, and we can all talk in hindsight, whatever strategic planning and innovative approaches we took towards managing our business, all of these were fraught with risk at all time in those days. Also from a performance perspective. I think somebody alluded to low-rated business that we taken all hotels all across. So there was low-rated business, there was logistic handling. A lot of hotels created the bubble culture, right? That was big during those days. We, as a hotel in the Western in Mumbai, strategically chose to take sport broadcasting business through the year. And we had teams sitting out of the hotels broadcasting, for example, the cricket tours of Australia, Sri Lanka and England. We did the Hero ISL, the Euro Cup. And we also did the Shark Tank operating from the hotel for some time. So businesses, that we've not generally looked at as traditional hotel businesses. That's where we kind of looked at our strategy and innovative approach. You asked me about lows and highs. I think unequivocally the impact on people was the low, and I think there's been enough said about it. I don't want to really get into it, but that does remain the lowest point for that time. Highs, I speak about Western in Mumbai. The hotel delivered very strong financial results through the period, though muted in comparison to previous years. And I think one of the highs was that we formed an exceptionally strong people connect with co-workers and guests who were staying with us. And as I say that, the thought crosses my mind, and I'll say this now with just a little sprinkle of humor. All our guests were extremely well behaved during that period, and that surely must count for a high, right?
Or a positive.
Or positive, right? You spoke about the brilliant recovery. Yes, the recovery story is now very clear. 23 will be the best year for a large quantum of hotels across the globe. For me as a leader, the focus shifted very quickly back to how we manage our business in a new world order. With rising demand, Anupam alluded to the rate lift, or now we're finally getting our share of what the ADR should be. Then the guest expectations from the brand and the hotel. And I think the brand's expectation from the hotel and the general managers who lead these hotels. For me at JW Aerocity, we're a luxury hotel. We've got a very strong brand on the building. It's my responsibility to enhance this brilliant recovery with a strong business performance, driven, of course, by the hotel's reputation, its ability to deliver quality service, etc. Building on the success of that hotel, the focus, I think, going forward will be on introducing new initiatives. Some of the initiatives we have done in the past, we want to bring new ones to the hotel. And these would be aimed to further enhance the luxury guests' experience. Our focus is reinforced on sustainability initiatives, giving back to the community through Serve 360, which is Marriott's international global initiative. Today, business plays an increasingly critical role in taking on the world's most pressing social, environmental, and economic issues. With the size and scale that Marriott has, we have a global responsibility and a very unique opportunity, I think, to be a force for good. Guided by Marriott International's 2025 Sustainability and Social Impact Goals, as well as the UN Sustainable Development Goals, we as a hotel and as a company are committed to creating positive and sustainable impact wherever we do business. Some of the things that we do, and it's been alluded to before, cage-free eggs, clean air initiative, in-house water bottling plants, EV charging stations, etc. One of the key things I think for every brand is go back and focus on the brand culture. From back of the house operations to the everyday lineups that we do with our associates, every aspect of the hotel should really reflect the essence of the brand. It's about executing those brand proof points that truly makes a difference and will continue to make a difference. We spoke about creating phenomenal customer experiences. That's an equally crucial aspect that should not be overlooked. No detail is too small as far as our guests are concerned. And as I mentioned earlier, the guest expectation from our hotels post the last 3 years is also increased. So, by paying attention to little detail, tailoring guest experiences to their preferences, we want to continue to create lasting memories that will help our guests feel valued and keep them coming back. There's also the emphasis on mentoring and nurturing new talent. I think this is important to strengthen our teams to ensure continued excellence in service delivery. We have, through the Marriott Voyager program, reinforced that program and ensuring that we build our leaders for the future. The hotel will leverage our brand and category. Our focus will be to grow our market share particularly in this highly competitive market of Delhi NCR. We spoke about AeroCity. AeroCity is, like you said, a buzzing segment here. Business is rocking. It's growing in stature as a crucial hub for hospitality and commercial ventures, and it has tremendous potential still. Close to AeroCity in Dwarka, there's the new Dwarka Convention Center that's slated to open sometime this year, and this will add tremendous, or it will be a big boost for the future for AeroCity as far as hotels is concerned. So all in all, an extremely good story going forward.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good, and I think sooner than later our people problem is behind us. In fact, it's already behind us. The talent is back. In fact, new talent is coming in, and when you have a general feel good factor in play, then it only helps us to go along with the high tide. I shall now come into you, Abhimanyu. You and Sharad are the two newest to Delhi.
Yes, we are.
You're also in the hot seat now in Delhi, and you're in Lutyens, Delhi, like Benita is, like Anupam is. So we have three of you in Lutyens. Tell me, you were running a resort during the pandemic.
That's correct.
Right. How was it, and what's the learning that you think we've had as an industry in the past 2 or 3 years? How have we changed?
Well, sir, I was fortunate to be running a resort. And I say this because now it's common knowledge that resorts and resort destinations were doing exceedingly well during the past 2-3 years. And I can go on and on talking about all the big, great financial achievements that we had and the record-breaking financial numbers that we had and all the good things which followed, which happened in resorts and resort destinations of the past couple of years. But I must take a couple of seconds and just like Mr. Datta, touch upon the low point which preceded this economic boom for resorts. And I thought, and I'm sure all my fellow panelists, general managers will agree that we had to take some of the toughest human resource decisions of our lives, and which preceded this economic boom. Salary readjustments, delayed growths and promotions, and certain other decisions which were directly impacting professional careers, which I believe haunts the industry even today. Even today, we are struggling with quality manpower in the industry, and not many people want to join the industry. But again, good times and bad times both don't last long. And I think you learn more in bad times than you learn in good times. I know Anupam's already mentioned a few things which have continued post the pandemic, so as to say, but I thought it was a great time for us to look at our business in detail. I think it was a bolt from the blue. Our business, which is all about logic, it's all about creating magic for our guests. Our business was about hugs and handshakes. And I thought all of that was taken away from us in a jiffy. Consequently, if I was to list down, let's say 4 or 5 things which we had to do as a hotel, as a resort, as an industry, which have stayed with us even now, I thought first things first, we had to get creative. So suddenly, in hotels around the world, you had, let's say, car parks were getting converted into drive-in cinemas. You had rock concerts happening at the poolside of hotels because people wanted to see from the comforts of their rooms. So as an industry, I thought it required us to get creative, and we did that very well. Also, it required us to get nimble-footed. I think it's taught us that the companies and general managers and organizations which were spending lesser time from the inception of an idea to the execution of an idea were the ones who got off the block much faster than the others. And I think that's where you had overnight, you had vegan menus come out because people are more health conscious. You had QR codes in restaurants. Spas decided to expand outdoors because people wanted to be more outdoors than indoors. So another thing that stayed with us is the fact that we've now become nimble-footed. And I think we've reduced the time from the inception of an idea to an execution of an idea. We very quickly realized that with all the HR issues around us, multi-skilling and cross-collaboration became extremely important also because of the erratic demand level. So suddenly you had a workforce and which wasn't really equipped to handle the kind of demand that we suddenly were looking at. So multi-skilling and cross-collaboration, and it stays with us even now. It didn't take us too long to realize that everything was moving to the virtual world. If I may, except for the share market, I think IT was on steroids, and it continues to be on steroids. And I thought hotels had to invest in technology to stay relevant. Things like Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and virtual meetings, I don't think they were as popular as they are today, let's say a couple of years ago. So that's something that we, as an industry, have really had to invest in, which is information technology. And let's say the fifth point, last but not the least, I was fortunate to be working for a resort wherein we consciously decided not to cut down on luxury because we realized very, very soon that the intent to travel was always there. It's just that the jigsaw puzzle the pieces of the puzzle had to come together. And we realized that the moment the pieces came together and let's say the travel restrictions were lifted, there was a huge boom and huge demand for travel and for luxury. So even during the time that there was a lockdown, we kept doing something or the other, like marketing to our old guests, because we knew that people would want to travel to places where they are most comfortable. And it was important to communicate to them all the hygiene sanitization steps that we were taking to get their confidence levels back. So those were the few things which I thought we worked on and which stay with us even now. That being said, and again, my fellow panelists will agree with me that none of us were taught in business school or hotel management school how to handle such a situation, such a bolt from the blue. And I think as we sit down today in our seats, we all realize that if we could handle what we did for 2 to 3 years, I think we can handle much more that comes our way in future. I think it's made us better professionals, more confident hoteliers. And if I may also take the liberty of saying that for all the human resource decisions we had to take, it required us to be empathetic, it required us to be humble, required us to display maturity, to show compassion towards our people. And may I dare to say that it's also made us better human beings. So confident hoteliers, better human beings, and just a few more things that I spoke about. That's my takeaway from the pandemic for the 2-3 years in the resort.
I agree with you. And you see, today a whole lot of hospitality management school students are watching, the faculty is watching. Look, this industry offers some of the best career opportunities, right? Don't go by what's happened over the last year or two, right? Look at the future. I mean, this hospitality polishes you like nobody else does. This gives you career options like nobody else does. It prepares you for careers, not just in this industry, but outside, right? You look at general managers. I mean, you look at the set today. I mean, these are classic general managers, right? Where do you find people so articulate, so organized, so well prepared, right? They are brilliant ambassadors for their brands, for their hotels, and for the industry. So all the impressionable soak in every word that they are saying. They have loads of experience behind them, right? And we all come from middle-class families. Ask them, they chose this career over many options that they have. And look at the assets worth hundreds of crores that each one of them heads. So be there. I think this is a great opportunity, and they're great gurus to take away a great message to select a career. Now, I am coming back to you, Benita, all right, for your second question. Understanding the impact of the pandemic, what was your effort on sustainability, and how important is it for you at the hotel? We all know ITC has invested all their resources and energy on sustainability, right? Be it LEED certification or whatever. Your corporate office is zero carbon and LEED certified.
So, Bhunesh, before I come to our responsible luxury ethos, and there's so much I can talk about it, I just wanted to say that when I listen to everyone, I must say that we slept very well during the pandemic. Not a single job was lost. Nobody lost salary without voluntarily giving some of it. If they volunteered, we accepted it. Otherwise, not one person lost a job. So that is, when I listen to people, I must say that I'm really humbled with the company I work for, and I'm extremely grateful for all that they did for us and our teams so that we had a good night's sleep. We felt very safe. There was no insecurity as far as employment goes. Now, to answer your question, I would like to mention that our parent company used to be in tobacco. It sustained its AA rating by MSCI ESG, which is the highest amongst global tobacco companies. Also, we were also included in the Dow Jones Sustainability Emerging Markets Index. It is a matter of immense satisfaction that ITC Hotel sustainability practices continue to receive global recognition. It began with the first Platinum LEED certified hotel, like the ITC Moria, went on to all our luxury collection hotels, some of our welcome hotels. We also have registered LEED zero carbon certified hotels, and finally LEED certified water positive hotels. Hotels are at the crossroads of a redefined future. Multidimensional learnings from the pandemic days include purposeful innovations, as all my colleagues have spoken about, in service products, exponential digital technology, technological advancements, as I said, with adoption of the same, unprecedented agility with new and disruptive offers in the market. However, amongst this, the stark sustainability challenges became an existential threat, accentuated with the background of the pandemic. The past year has experienced unprecedented climate conditions. As Bhuvanesh, you spoke about, you found it difficult coming into Delhi. The rains in the north have thrown life out of gear. Despite, I've just had the food and beverage manager walk in. He's been struggling from 8 o'clock in the morning to get to one road which will lead him to ITC Moria. Despite all the commitments the world has made, all the countries of the world have made, the world is likely to experience a 2-degree centigrade rise in temperature by the middle of the century, which may prove to be catastrophic for all living on our planet. Apart from the following progressive legislation there'll be progressive legislation by the government for the environment. It will be imperative for our hotels to develop technology solutions like carbon capture, utilization, and storage. In the Global Climate Risk Index 2021, India has emerged as the 7th most climate vulnerable hotel in the world, vulnerable country in the world. However, there is hope as India has emerged as a global leader in the actions that they've taken for climate change. One of the few G20 nations to achieve the commitments made at the Paris Convention. The need of the hour for all of us in hospitality will be to develop, process, and adopt products that innovatively integrate environmental stewardship and employment generation as a core outcome. We need to not only be agile, customer-centric, innovative, but also purpose-driven, and I'm going to use the term responsibly competitive. continue our focus on decarbonization with increased use of renewable energy. In our hotels, we boast being all our hotels have renewable energy up to 44%, ensuring water security, adoption of nature-based solutions, and creating an effective circular economy for recycling solid waste. ITC boasts of having a 99% recycling of solid waste. 99% of their solid waste is recycled. At our hotels, we are guided with continuously evolving comprehensive sustainable policies. As I've said, we work with stakeholders, greening the supply chain, identifying sustainability challenges to progressively source alternatives to mitigate risk or the impact on the environment. We will continue to work on construction of our green buildings, our green practices, our green products, greening logistics, optimizing distance to market. A lot of our hotels have moved from, have this initiative of farm to plate. And each day, this race gets better and better to better the percentage use of renewable energy. Thank you.
Excellent. Yes, I mean, I've just come back from the Maldives and I know a thing or two about climate change and what impact it can have on a whole nation, right? So, I mean, you look at Venice, they are trying to pump up the entire nation, I mean, the entire city by 30 centimeters over the next 10 years.
Wow.
Right? So what we're trying to do is they're pumping up seawater into the foundations of the entire city to try and lift it up. It's going to cost them billions of dollars, but just lifting it by 10 centimeters. Wow. You know, how much is 10 centimeters?
Yeah. You know, Mr. Khanna, may I just interject here? And I was listening with great intent to what Benita was saying, and it's amazing to hear all the brilliant things that's being done. But just as an industry, I don't think we do enough for sustainability. I mean, hotels around the world are the highest consumers of water and electricity per square feet. I mean, and sustainability is not only about the destination, right? It is also about the people around the destination. I mean, do we do enough for the people around our destination, for the art, culture, folklore? Do we do enough as an industry? You look at our hill stations are a dump yard. You know, I mean, there's so much garbage all over our hill stations. We kept hearing about Cape Town running out of water. It's come home. Shimla's running out of water. So just as an industry, and I don't know if we have invested enough in automation towards energy saving. If travel and tourism does not cut carbon emissions by at least 60%, I don't think as an industry we're doing enough towards sustainability. And
I agree with you, Abhimanyu. But having said that, our next generation is extremely conscious, and I know general managers and operating companies, they become extremely conscious. Yes, it hasn't taken on a heavy duty push, but sooner than later it will. For instance, when I check into a 5-star hotel, my first instruction at the reception and to housekeeping is, do not change my linen till I don't check out. Right? I try and avoid taking any paper napkin or tissue or use unnecessary linen. Right?
And the success of most businesses around the world will be judged on your impact on the world, and our business is going to be no different. So already investors are asking you questions on environment, social impact, governance before they sign up with you. So hopefully things will get better.
Oh yes, absolutely. I'm coming to you, Anupam. We've spoken in the last 5 questions that I put. We've heard a lot about people, right? About talent. Tell me, people and talent has been a challenge given what has happened. What has been your plan and strategy to overcome this hurdle and deliver a great experience and, of course, results, be it financial, qualitative, quantitative?
Okay, so, as luck would have it, the company changed hands just before COVID happened, and we moved from one ownership to the other. What eventually happened was similar to what Benita also said. We fortunately, and again saying it with the greatest humility, knowing what was happening all around us, it makes you all the more touched and humbled by your circumstances. But not one person got laid off. Full salaries were paid, increments were given, et cetera, et cetera. So that was the starting point, right? So that happened, and then came certain stuff such as trust, openness, and candor, which I think all of us try and imbibe into our leadership, and and it flows downwards. So I think one was the basic, the Maslow's needs, if I were to paraphrase on that, and then you have all these other things that we do as leaders every day, leading by example, etc. So those are things which build the foundation for any great organization, for any great hotel. I think if one takes care of that, everything else gets taken care of, and your business gets taken care of, your NPS gets taken care of, your quality scores, everything falls into place. So lucky to have had that backing, lucky to have had a great operating team and leadership team that imbibed all the trust, openness, and candor that I alluded to. So that was the sort of the housekeeping bits out of the window. Other than that, we took in a lot of initiatives to keep people motivated and push through what is called the Leela University. In terms of accelerated development, we started with something called the LEAD program, where we identified high potential employees, managers who are managers of tomorrow, general managers of tomorrow, senior leadership of tomorrow, put them through management development programs in partnership with ISH, which is also the hospitality school, which is partnering us for our leadership development program, which also started at this time, because we needed a runway of talent to be developed for all the growth opportunities that are coming their way for the leaders of the future. So the LLDP, the LEAD, were examples of certain talent development that we've done, and mentoring people. People were given mentors across different hotels. Different general managers were mentoring different high potential employees, and I think all of these have really held us in good stead. We also started what is called the Palace Services Program, which was a reinvigorated butler service program, and that was something that we very quickly realized was a great not just as a sub brand for our company, but something that really aided us in our efforts to personalize stays. Again, it segued into the leadership development as well, because somebody who's in the Palace Services program, having served successfully over a certain period of time, would be eligible for to get into the leadership development program. So all of these things were done keeping in mind that we needed to develop talent, and to build that runway for talent. Besides this, we've actively looked at how we could improve our diversity. Many of our hotels, including mine, have a lot of team members and colleagues who are differently abled. In areas where they can really make a difference. So, for example, as a matter of great pride, my entire minibar team it comes from a school, a deaf and dumb school. They,
Wow.
it's amazing. And, the kind of work they do, they don't really have to. Thank you for the applause. It's really very heartwarming. And, we have zero attrition in that. And people love them. They wear these big badges, which tells people that, they're not able to interact in the normal way. So just as an example of what we've adopted, and many of our other sister hotels in our company have adopted the same. So we are also doing a lot of work on gender diversity and developing leadership amongst ladies, and that is a conscious effort. There's a conscious effort towards that. We are replacing certain talents, where natural attrition has taken place with leadership, lady leadership. And I think that is really another thing, another great area of focus for us. So all in all, I think we've become, in many ways, we're becoming an employer of choice. Of course, it helps that we, for example, accolades such as being in the top 3 brands in the world, luxury hotel brands in the world. All these accolades really help as well, because for a lot of people, it's aspirational to want to work in a place that would offer them those kind of career opportunities to do so. So I think from a people perspective, the basics are very important. The basics of leadership, and I'm a great believer in level 5 leadership that is cited by Jim Collins in his famous Good to Great. And I keep it very close to my heart, and I try and walk the talk on it. Of course, it's a long way to go on that, but God willing, someday. But that's all as far as people are concerned.
You've spoken about 2 or 3 things which are extremely important for me, right? Diversity, inclusivity, right, and bringing in the marginalized and less fortunate, right? So what is normal for them, we consider it as not normal, right? Their normal state is that they need to go sign language, right? So, so great step forward. Tell me, if I was to ask you, how are your takings happening from hospitality management schools? Have you personally been there? Have you presented a case for the industry, your brand, your hotel?
I have. In fact, all the final interviews that happen with the general manager, and I'm also at the forefront of it. We also have been assigned various zones to recruit from. So we are responsible for recruiting people for our zones, for our sister hotels. And so, it is in a certain way, it has been tough. I must tell you, because people coming into the industry, the number of people, the percentage of people opting for the industry, it is, I think, much lower than what it was during our times, much lower than what it was even 5 to 7 years ago. I think people were genuinely scared after all the layoffs that happened during COVID. And I think if certain hotels or companies did not handle it in a particularly humane way, a lot of course, there are team members who understood. I've even come across people who've been laid off, but, they had a great boss who explained to them exactly what happened. They had a great hotel and a great management that explained to them exactly what's happening, keeping them informed, being open and honest about and candid about what was happening. So I think that was very important, because even if you do have to, take that extreme step, the way it is done is very important. I think Abhimanyu touched upon it. It is very important that it is done in the right way. If ever it has to be done, and it's obviously not the best thing to be done, but if at all it has to be done. So coming back to answer your question, tough times ahead for our industry as far as getting talent that's concerned from the hotel schools. It is cyclical in a way. I feel we will we will eventually come back, maybe not to the extent that we have been used to, but there are certain changes that we have to make in our salary structures, in the way we address work-life balance, in the way we address how we deal with the generation, because they're not any different from what you and I were. It's just that the times that they've grown up with are so different, right? They've grown up in a digital age, so obviously they don't like to be thwarted with bureaucracy. They don't want to be thwarted with time-wasting tactics, etc. They also are a generation that are relatively lucky to have got a lot of things that we were not used to, right? Not just technology. I mean, you spoke about, Bhuvnesh, all of us being from middle-class families. Well, there are middle-class families from where these kids are coming as well, but the certain privileges that they are used to are not what we were used to, right? So certain things that we did not take for granted are being taken for granted. So it's a question of perspective, and we as leaders have to change our perspective, and lead certain things which are, like I say, housekeeping standards. They have to be maintained, like trust, candor, openness. They have to be done, but there are also different ways of dealing with the generation, and I think we have to change rather than expecting them to change.
Excellent. Thanks, Anupam. I'm coming to you, Sharad. I'm rushed for time now. Sharad, tell me, where you are, the asset that you head. That's the big one for banquets, MICE, right? And the big fat Indian wedding, right? They're all important segments, but were the last of the block when it started. We started with small wedding packs. I remember 20 लोगों की शादी हो रही है, 25 लोगों की, फिर 50 लोगों की, इनमें 5-5, 6-6 शादियां हो रही हैं. Tell me, now weddings are back, banquets are back, MICE is back. How did you wade your way past to stay on top of the situation? Were you then and now on top of the game? And looking ahead, how does it look?
Thanks, Bhuvnesh. This question is great, but listening to the last question and the interaction around that, there's so much of passion that we all have around our people. And Anupam, I think, echoed that. He spoke from the heart, so great.
Oh, yeah.
We can speak for hours on that topic. It is just so engaging and fantastic. This actually may be very insipid after that, but I'll do my best to give it justice. But you're right. Restrictions on gatherings at that time meant that this was the last segment of the block, but it's caught up quickly, I think, and it's kept pace. Going back, how did we adapt? I think across the board, adapting to whatever trend there was. I think the key was to quickly adjust our offerings and cater to those small weddings that you spoke about, the 20 people weddings, 6 weddings happening at one time, if you were allowed to. I think there was some rule that says you can't have more than one wedding also at that time. And it's fantastic to see that people still wanted to get married in those times, right?
True.
But I think what helped at that time was, we had to adjust our offerings to cater to the small wedding packages within our banquet facilities, and also leveraging our strong market presence and relationships. Everybody wanted to do business, right? So everybody was looking for opportunities to create those business opportunities. And combine this with, from Marriott perspective, we had a great initiative called Commitment to Clean. That was our promise in terms of hygiene and safety. And this allowed us really to tap into this segment early on and establish our presence. At JW Aerocity, versatile event spaces, as you mentioned, it's a large ship with fantastic banquet facilities. We've got a grand crystal ballroom. We can take up to 1,500 guests now. And of course, like most ballrooms, can be divided into smaller rooms to cater to different events. Looking ahead, the future, as in other segments, looks extremely promising. For our hotel, with our well-equipped ballroom, as I mentioned, our versatile event studios, we are very well positioned to meet this growing demand from banquets, MICE, weddings, etc. Our flexibility in our space that ensures that we can cater to various events, large conferences to intimate gatherings, and we could do that back then and now also, right? We're known for exceptional service and creating memorable experiences, and obviously we'll continue to do that at this hotel, and we will continue to remain as one of the top choices for hosting meetings and events in the city, and definitely at AeroCity. And as travel remains on this very strong upward curve, we know that a large portion of it has come through the luxury group travel. And all of us, our general managers here on this call today, are representing luxury hotels. And I think that's an important play in this whole piece. We've seen a stellar growth in this segment in demand, and this continues to grow. And I think it's also fueled by continuous opening of now. The entire world is almost open, right? And numbers are very, very encouraging. There's a study that said that the global MICE market is expected to reach somewhere close to USD 1.6 trillion by 2030. And that's an exponential jump over today. And if you look at it from a CAGR perspective, it's almost 27.5%. And not only that, the year 22, Asia Pacific was the largest contributor to the MICE industry. And when you consider that India was one of the fastest in APAC to recover, imagine the future potential. Fabulous. I referred earlier to the convention center at Dwarka. This has far-reaching positives for AeroCity hotels and other hotels. The kind of space there is, the kind of large conventions that will be driven into the city is going to be a phenomenal future for MICE in this part. We've also heard that Ministry of Tourism, they're planning a new digital campaign to boost MICE tourism in India in a big way. They've also announced a dedicated fund for promoting the industry. I think that's fantastic news for the industry, and that will really help us to garner inbound business coming in. And I also think there are trends / focus areas that will redefine the event and MICE space as we go forward. One thing that we spoke about, all of us, we spoke about sustainability. Sustainability and ESG policies have never been more important than they are today. Even event planners and clients are focusing on delivering carbon neutral or even zero carbon events. I think someone alluded to the fact that millennials and Gen Zs are extremely concerned about global sustainability today, and also the environment. This is an area which I think will grow significantly as they take on even more professional prominence and business decision-making responsibility. Bleisure is another piece that is going to grow. I think employers are increasingly conscious that business travel also enables employees not only to advance their careers, but also to explore the world. So I think that's another piece that will come in. Wellness, we've all known, has been a big piece for some time, and will continue to play a key factor for luxury group travel, and in line with the growth in wellness tourism. There's also something that I've heard recently called geo-cloning. It may sound futuristic, but it's a strategy that's being investigated by organizers and exhibitors to connect with audiences locally as well as internationally. And the idea behind that is to replicate well-known exhibition and event brands in different parts of the world, thereby contributing to industry growth and really driving this segment forward. Putting it all together, I think the future of this segment is extremely robust, and demand will grow. And I think it will also require that we move from the cookie cutter operation that has happened in the past and embrace the critical elements in today's world of sustainability, AI, chatbots, cloud systems. And I think there is merit in looking at how we can or we should adapt to this juxtaposition of human service for our luxury guests, especially in this segment. So, a great future for MICE, great future for hotels. To all listening in, this is, I think, in a sense, back with a bang as a preferred profession to choose.
Absolutely. And you guys are great ambassadors. Now I'm coming to the last but not the least question, and that goes to you, Abhimanyu. Categorization of an asset class from luxury to economy is also man-made, right? I want you to be brief. We are over time. The guest makes decisions basis what they look at, for example, price, location, facilities, F&B, and yes, relationships. And then they decide. How would you manage this and make it sure and predictable to clinch?
To answer your question in one line, I think luxury is here to stay. It's going nowhere. You see, traditionally, the three elements of any luxury business have basically been you generate demand, you deliver the experience, and you maintain the economics short-term and long-term. But another very important aspect which has come up, a new element which has developed in the past 3 to 4 years, I would say, is it's always been part of the human DNA, and that is aspiration. You see, traditionally, luxury was all about the haves, not the have-nots. It's about how rich you are, the rich class, if you could afford something. But it's all evolved now. You see, the people driving luxury growth in the world right now are the Gen Zs, the millennials, and the Henrys. I mean, Henrys, of course, are the high earners who are not rich yet. And we are sitting in a country where the 65% of the population is under the age of 35. So I think we are very well placed to start with. Also, a significant number of Indians are becoming aspirational consumers of luxury products, owing to their high disposable incomes. If you look at certain statistics, I'll just take a couple of minutes more. This is supposed to be India's decade. In the next 10 years, the luxury business in India is expected to grow almost 3.5 times of what it is right now. And in the next 3 years, the number of millionaires in India is expected to grow by 105%. Now, if these numbers are anything to go by, I think India is very, very well placed to lead the luxury market. And what is luxury? Luxury is all about delivering error-free service. At least in our business, it's about error-free service. First time, every time. It's about being discreet, about delightful, about spoiling the end user. And while economy is all about being transactional, luxury is here to stay. It's experiential, and now it's even aspirational. So I think we are very well placed in the luxury market. It's going nowhere. We just need to ensure we don't cut down on luxury. Otherwise, I think India as such is very, very well placed. And no wonder you have international brands making a beeline for India, be it fashion or even hotels. So I hope I've answered the question within time.
Case. But let me say this here, with all honesty at my command. The purpose of shows like the BW Hotelier GM show, which is going to be recorded and it's going to be replayed. The actual viewership happens when the show, right? They all keep coming. They keep coming to watch. Now we are presenting a damn good case for the industry. What does the future hold for us? What does it hold for our industry, for the country, and for the careers of the ones who are watching? And you guys have presented such a damn good case for yourself. Okay, Salman Khan, not the one who drives over pavements, my colleague over here. So he's presented our next show, which is going to be tomorrow, same time, 4 p.m. Salman, get the slide back. So this show is about G20. G20 is a brilliant opportunity to showcase our country, our capabilities, and our industry. So we'll have some of the finest GMs. I'm not going to talk about their names. We all know them. Be it Shrikant, Jaideep, Nayan, Rishi, Tarun, or Vineet, right? So they're all going to discuss this. Coming back to closing this show, you guys are worthy ambassadors for the industry. You presented a damn good case. Between you all sitting over here, I think we should have about 150 years of experience, right? And I think it is extremely important for us to do these shows, for us to present our views, so that all the impressionable and the ones who are looking for opportunities know who are the ones who are leading the pack today. And sooner than later, you guys are going to see charge, right? So it's imperative, and it's for us to handhold. And Anupam, you've spoken about inclusion, you've spoken about gender equality, diversity. Benita has spoken about like you all have spoken about sustainability. Abhimanyu presented a case for luxury, right? Sharad spoke about how Dwarka is a great opportunity. and weddings are not going anywhere. MICE is coming back in a big way. So all in all, touch wood, fingers crossed, things are looking sharp, looking good. We should take this now to the next level and keep looking forward for BW Hoteliers GM show. There are going to be episodes every Thursday and Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. Be there, lock in. And thank you, Benita. I'll start with Benita. Thank you for being here. Anupam, thank you, my brother.
Thank you for
Thank you.
calling us.
Thank you,
Bhuvanesh.
Sharad. And last but not the least, Abhimanyu. I've had an absolute blast over here.
Thank you,
for
Bhuvanesh.
being there.
Thank you. Thank you for having us, sir.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for being
And
on.
yes, to my entire backend team, Tanvi, Ajit, Saurabh, Shweta, Salman, Bulbul, all of you, thank you for supporting us. Thank you for driving the show.
Thank you, BW.
Thank you.
Thank you.